fundamental rights that the white man is bound to respect, right? We compared that to the Jordan Davis loud music killing. We talked about, you ever turn your music down, I don't turn my music down, you step off the sidewalk when I pass you, like that kind of stuff. I can call you whatever I want, but if you wink or whistle, Emmett Till, right? Just a basic understanding of, the way things work, right? I guess we even looked at in terms of Marshawn Lynch, right? Because you see that he's talking in a lot of interviews, but just not the ones he doesn't want to talk in. But there is this particularism becoming universal, whereas if you don't talk to me, you're antisocial. If you don't talk to me and answer questions I'm asking you, then something's wrong with you. There's a pathology attached to that. It can never be that I just don't want to talk to you. I don't like the questions y'all ask. Y'all don't talk about my foundation. Y'all don't come to my hood when I do my events. That could very well be the reason why I'm talking to Skittles and Conan O'Brien and everybody else, but for some reason when you get in my face, I clam up. Right? Similar situation to when we're going to talk about young African Americans, particularly men, being suspended at a higher rate from preschool all the way through high school. Right? There's these preconceived notions of what the behavior should be, and there's these verdicts. There's a book called Blink, where we talk about these snap judgments. So you being animated is not you having potential leadership skills, not you being highly motivated and energized about education. You are not in your place if you're animated, if you're energetic. So something that would be seen as an asset, in the educational process, if it comes in the wrong container, i.e. black container, now becomes problematic. And we have to understand that, because we understand the duality of rights and laws, and especially when it comes to the Second Amendment piece, very few instances are more glaring than the Second Amendment, where one thing is all right for one person and one thing's not all right for somebody else, right? But like we said before, we don't get all stressed out. We don't got to keep wondering. I saw the mainline drug dealer. You saw that guy, the drug dealer ring, the private school kid. He got 23 months? Yeah. He was running a drug ring. That's right. He was like the kingpin of the whole organization. You only got 23 months? 23 months. That happened last year, too. 23 months. So he got a quick trial and everything. 23 months. In jail for 3 years. Who was in that sports class? Right? POP, hold it down. I'm legally blind. Right? Yeah, so I'm an innocent bystander. This is her story. Getaway car. But I cannot see. I'm legally blind. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. I'm physically. Sounds just me. So, we looked up her case and all that in class. And how much time did she get?
18 months.
No.
What, 20 years?
Oh,
no, 18 years.
She got 18 years in prison. Right. For driving a getaway car. And we looked up the court document, like we brought the papers, right? Mm-hmm. I learned that from hip-hop. Gilly the Kid taught me that. You look at the paperwork on people. So if you don't get this,
they murder people,
then you'll get stressed out.
Yeah.
You'll go every day, there'll be a new case, and every day you'll be on some talk show binge. Oh my God, if that was me. We get it, right? We get it. So the class didn't seem to respond to that. What did they say? Well, it depends on what she did, before that. Depends if she had priors. Like, yo, please. Driving a getaway car gets you outside people, murder people, and get out in 10 years. People rape and murder people and get off. People beat people up on tape. Rodney King, anytime. It becomes a point where either you want to see it or you don't want to see it. And that's the point I try to get to very fast, because that way you can avoid unnecessary conversations, debates, and conflicts. Once you pull back the curtain and you see that somebody wants to close it, you just let them close it. You don't keep fighting and pushing their arms back and forth. They see exactly what you see. They made a different decision based on what they saw. Remember we talked about the producer, Bastards of the Party, right? I couldn't make this up, actually. So the producer from Bastards of the Party was under the truck that Suge Knight was driving that killed Terry Carter a few days ago. Now, if I told you that was going to happen, you'd be like, man, get out of here. You talking crazy. The conspiracy theory. They've been at beef. There's a history to them, right? They don't like each other. I got that. The guy who made the movie that we watched was run over. I'm just giving the facts. I'm not going to tell nothing else. We'll wait till later to get deeper into that, see how it all plays out. I figure it relates to Tupac. Let's go to my man. Because this is what it's all about, right? Let's keep it local, bring it home. Present day. Philadelphia schools closing. While a new $400 million prison is under construction, could it be worse than it sounds? Is there a way to justify closing 23 Philadelphia public schools and laying off potentially thousands of teachers in order to build a new $400 million prison complex for Pennsylvania's Department of Corrections? In a word, no. And the situation may actually be worse than recent breathless media reports might lead people to believe. Okay, so here's a couple of reports, right? Philadelphia laid off thousands of school employees last week after the state of Pennsylvania continued its austerity measures against public schools. And while the state is essentially destroying Philadelphia public schools through underfunding, claiming budgetary concerns, it somehow found enough money to build a $400 million prison just outside of the city. The school closures, which of course disproportionately affect schools in poor and minority neighborhoods, will force students to venture far outside of their neighborhoods to attend their closest school. In the absence of new funds to cover a $304 million projected shortfall, schools will open in the fall without new books, paper, clubs, counselors, librarians, assistant principals, or secretaries. Athletics, art, and music would be gone. There would be 3,000 layoffs, including some teachers. The largest public school system in the state needs about $300 million to operate without drastically reducing its capabilities. The state has about $400 million to offer, but needs a new prison instead. That sums it up, right? So Corbyn said, you know, okay. Say it's a war on poverty.
The new slave.
Huh?
The new slave industry.
Really, you think? Yep. I've heard that. Not just Kanye. So that's my man right there, right?
Governor Corbyn.
Yeah, well, not governor now, right?
No,
He's about to be out.
I can vote for him.
About to roll out. Right, that's my man's in him. So I said, yo, black people chilling with him. We got a multicultural coalition, right? They down with him. Why y'all face look like this?
You know that picture was photoshopped.
What? No.
The way they had it on TV, they put the black lady in there near Governor Corbyn, and it was a big thing about it because he couldn't get anybody of color in his
Really?
pictures.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yes, that was reading about it.
Let's see. It says Pennsylvania Governor Corbyn seeking re-election. Okay.
Yeah.
Why not Uncle Tom do a Photoshop? What? Photoshop the older black woman into a campaign picture.
Yeah. I mean, they remember.
You know, instead of actually going out and meeting one. That's funny. Okay. And for Clarence Thomas behind. Oh, you said it looked like Clarence Thomas, right? No shade. That's what Nikki said, right? Do we have to give research? Okay. Let's see. That's the actual picture they said. So they flipped it and photoshopped it.
Yeah.
Okay. Controversy. That's controversial cover. Get a gun.
Nothing wrong with that.
But that's not how it moves.
Second Amendment.
So they changed it, right?
Right.
Big controversy.
Yeah.
They've been photoshopping for a long time, right?
That's right.
They was nice with it. Look, big old hand, look like, I don't know what to say. Right? It's crazy, right? They look like the same hand.
Right.
There's another guy. Okay, let's play a game. Guess which one of these advertisements caused the national controversy that made the movie company take down the billboard? You got Eastwood, right?
That's
So you got your 80s, your early 80s, early 90s, you got your 2000s, right? Boom, all those stuff, right? Two guns, right? Okay, so one of these, of course, caused a firestorm. All right, let's see what 50 guys say. Because people always talk about conscious rap or this and that, you know, it's similar to what we said earlier. People encounter the same information and make different decisions, right? Some say F this, right? They might go Charles Hamilton, right? Some go F this, but I'm going to still make superstar Lupe Fiasco. Some say F this, I'm going to make money, cash, hoes, and get rich and give back, because to me that's the win-win. Right? People get it, though. It's not like, oh, he don't get it. He didn't read what we read, that's why he's not wearing a backpack with us. No. He saw it and said, I'm going to do this. You saw it and said, I'm going to do that, right? That's why you got Malcolm Martin, you got different people looking at the same situation, seeing different potential solutions and ways to go about making progress. So don't act like 50 don't know, right? 50 Cent is accusing Hollywood of double standards after seeing a new James Bond holding a gun in posters for Casino Royale, a year after billboards of him sporting a weapon caused a fervor. Right, let's see what he says. You could see any kind of, wait, he says, Gears That Trying comes out, okay, Mr. Smith comes out with guns and it's acceptable. You can see any kind of gun that there is to see on the cover of films. You can go to Blockbuster and see every gun that was ever made. He said, let's not start with 50 Cent and stop with 50 Cent. Let's do it everywhere else and make it unacceptable, period. I would gladly join the rest of entertainment if we get there. Right? But there's something to be said about people who can encounter these things and not react. Right? People, did anybody work with children? And in my training working with children, I was always taught to not share my first response. Right? Because your first response might be something that people will say not to say to children, like, what's wrong with you? like in your mind. At first, you might see a kid doing something, like he might be taking like some pace and being like, oh, you might be like, whoa, what's wrong with you, right? But you're not going to say your first response. So you're taught to, assess the situation. Malik, did you eat lunch? You might want, you chill out. Dial it back, right? You chill out. Because you're not going to say the first thing that comes to your mind. And in relationships, a lot of times it's similar advice. You're like, don't just say the first thing you think, because it might not, make the relationships, last. Sometimes you want to, So it's something good to be said about people who can access hypocrisy and the historical context of racial oppression and even infiltration, assassination, and not go wild. Like don't just snap out. Because like they talked about last week, there's already enough stress, right? We talked about the stress of the struggle, which you were describing him in Tupac's conversations, and also Frederick Douglass just talking about the weight of telling truth and the weight of being on the front line. The people who start off fairly progressive, reformist, and as they mature in their political understanding, of global politics, they get a little more quote unquote radical or aggressive. Like when Dr. King said he feared that he had integrated his people into a burning house, and the next speech he was going to give was why America's going to hell before he was assassinated. Like, as people keep trying, like Tupac describes in the interview, say, what do you think, we'll keep singing, we're singing with them. And after a while, they're going to pick in the lock, coming through the door blasting, right? The song's going to change. Who saw the Jim Jones incident at Summer Jam? So the irony is, like, let's say in a movie, the guy's on the corner, and everybody's, cut.
He said, I'm Sean Bell. Yeah.
I'm Sean Bell, right? It's all connected. So he says, let's say he sells to undercover, he gets arrested, right? As he's getting arrested, similar to what we saw in the Pier 21 trial with O'Neill, right? They said they didn't know that he was infiltrating on behalf of the FBI when Malcolm was assassinated until